We're talking about Cameron Rising here on QB1 with Crissy Froyd. And Crissy, you were at the Manning Passing Academy. You have been studying all these quarterbacks really closely. What were some of your takeaways as it relates to Cameron Rising?
Yeah, I think he's a quarterback who can move well and who can throw the ball well. And I think that was fully on display at the Manning Passing Academy. A lot of people had him rising up their rankings, for lack of a better term, even though that is his last name, after what he did on the field there. And I think that when you have a quarterback from a school like Utah, they don't get a lot of publicity. And so you look to events like this, and what the scouts say from events like this, and you stumble upon them, and then the national media stumbles upon them, then they become something. And that's what's happened here with Cameron Rising. But I think that he throws the ball really well. I think he's a quarterback that has a good range of accuracy, and I think that he can be successful, and he's kind of in that meteoric riser early predictions category as we head into this 2022 college football season.
Yeah, an apropos name for sure. I'm sure that you're not the only one that's drawn that comparison, and that will continue to happen. Who do you kind of think of him as in terms of drawing similarities to other quarterbacks?
There have been a lot of people who have compared him to Zach Wilson, which I see some differences in their game personally, but I think more of what this anonymous scout that said that is referring to is that this quarterback could have the same type of rise as Zach Wilson. Comes from a small school, not a lot of attention, not a school that's necessarily known for producing a ton of these premier quarterbacks. And so I think that he could go from virtually unknown into rising into something of a first rounder or an early rounder. And so I think that's kind of what we see in his game and his ceiling and his potential.
Yeah, where does he need to improve? What is his ceiling? A lot of people impressed with him at the Manning Passing Academy, but you have obviously studied him closely. What do you think his ceiling is?
Yeah, I think he needs to improve a little bit in his decision making and his downfield passing accuracy. He's really good in the short to intermediate passing game, and he's shown some upside in the deep passing game. It's just a matter of finding more accuracy, better consistency, and then just cutting down on some of those bad decisions. So I think the ceiling's really high, but he does need to knock out those things a little bit first, especially as a player who's also going to be up against this narrative of lower level competition to a certain extent compared to some of these guys coming out of the SEC and things like that.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's always an uphill climb, right? When you've got all these juggernauts down in the southeastern part of the country who it just seems like it's a quarterback factory down there. You know that better than anybody. But as you kind of assess the immediate pool that he's in with some of these second tier sort of young quarterbacks and then the quarterback landscape as a whole, I mean, where does he stand among other quarterbacks?
Yeah, I have him in that 10 to 15 category right now. And I mean, when I look at that, just because the quarterback is there in my rankings does not mean that they're bad or that they can't rise. It's just you've got to have a 1 through 30, and somebody's going to be number 1, somebody's going to be 30, and everybody else is going to be somewhere in between. It's not necessarily indicative of a player being bad. It's just someone else who has shown more and proven more. And that's where I'm at with Cameron Rising. Lots of upside, player that could easily break into the top 10, if not the top 5. But I do need to see some things get better at that decision making, as some of the downfield passing game, and then just the consistency as a player who's caught attention, because we see players catch attention all the time. Some of them are a flash in the pan, and then some of them become Zach Wilson.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more QB1.